And now, BX Forever presents another RPG deep dive.
Welcome to our deep dive into B10 Nights Dark Terror. Ever get that feeling when a place you think you know suddenly hints at a deeper hidden story?
Oh, absolutely.
Like peeling back a layer of paint to find an older mural. That's the kind of exploration we're diving into today. You've sent us some fascinating material the following. It comes from, well, a game adventure module, and we're about to unpack the region of Karamakos.
And it's quite a region.
Trust me, beneath the surface details, there's a rich history and some serious potential trouble brewing.
Absolutely. The collection of sources you've provided is quite remarkable, actually. We have background details outlining ancient powers, descriptions of specific locations.
Right, like homesteads, forgotten cities.
Exactly. And details of encounters with various inhabitants, even notes touching on the environment and the economy.
Yeah.
What's particularly interesting is seeing how these seemingly disparate pieces, together create a cohesive and compelling picture of this fictional realm.
Exactly. It's like we're detectives piecing together clues to understand a much larger puzzle. Our mission here is to really dig into this material and pull out the essential information about Karamakos, its long history, the dangers that currently exist.
The real threats.
Yeah, and what it all might mean for anyone venturing into this territory. Consider this your fast track to being truly in the know about this corner of the gaming world.
A shortcut, if you will.
So, with a history that sounds this deep, where do we even begin?
Well, a natural starting point is to look at the ancient history of the region. And our sources point to the Hutakan Empire.
Hutakan Empire?
Okay. These were jackal-headed humanoids who, according to the background, originated from the Lost Valley of Hutaka, a hidden area within the Black Peak Mountains.
Jackal-headed humanoids. Already sounds like a history textbook I'd actually want to read. So, how did they become such a dominant force? Did they just roll in and conquer the region militarily?
Well, interestingly, the initial accounts suggest their dominance wasn't through force of arms. The sources emphasize their economic and cultural influence over the more primitive human tribes in the area, specifically the Traildar.
The Traildar, okay.
They introduced new technologies, crafts, trade, and the Traildar appear to have willingly exchanged their labor and resources for these advancements. It was a form of influence built on perceived benefit.
So a kind of cultural and economic superpower situation, almost a silent takeover.
Precisely, yeah, something like that. And the Lost Valley of Hutaka held immense significance for them.
Why is that?
It housed their primary temple dedicated to their deity, Flare.
Flare, got it.
And as their power consolidated, Hutaka became increasingly isolated, largely populated by religious figures, those serving the temple. There was a growing detachment from the outside world. Eventually, the high priestesses even took measures to conceal the valley's location from almost all outsiders.
A secluded holy land. Sounds almost peaceful. Yet the module mentions ongoing conflict in the ruins of Hutaka. What led to that?
Well, here's where the power dynamic shifts dramatically. The isolation and increasingly austere conditions within the hidden valley had a very different impact on the Traildar who had accompanied the Hutakans.
How so?
They faced harsher labor demands, with fewer of the cultural and economic advantages they initially enjoyed.
The deal soured.
Exactly. This disparity bred resentment, culminating in a violent uprising by the Traildar against their Hutakan rulers.
Okay, that makes sense.
And even long after the empire's collapse, pockets of fighting apparently still erupt in the ruins of Hutaka. This really speaks to how deeply that initial power imbalance fractured their relationship.
A classic story of resentment building beneath the surface, even in seemingly beneficial arrangements. It makes you wonder about the long-term consequences of any unequal relationship.
Definitely.
So shifting gears from ancient empires to individuals driven by more personal gain, the module introduces us to Golthar.
Yes, Golthar.
And his obsession with Hutakan wealth.
Yes. Golthar is identified as a magic user and the leader of a group known as the Iron Ring.
The Iron Ring sounds ominous.
They seem to be a significant power player in the region, yeah. His fascination with Hutakan history led him to the discovery of the ruined city of Shitaka.
Shitaka, another ancient Hutakan settlement.
Exactly. His investigations there uncovered a manuscript that confirmed his suspicions. The Hutakans had indeed taken significant wealth with them when they abandoned the city.
Okay, so he's after the treasure.
Initially, yes.
Yeah.
But this discovery then leads him to something far more intriguing than just gold, right?
A magical tapestry.
Exactly. Within a crypt in Shitaka, Golthar discovered a sacred tapestry along with a silver needle and gold thread.
Uh-huh.
He deduced that these items were the key to locating the lost Hutakan wealth. When the needle was touched to the tapestry, it began to magically weave, seemingly revealing vital information.
Wow,
But his discovery was rather abruptly interrupted by the unwelcome appearance of a pair of gelatinous cubes.
Gelatinous cubes. You definitely don't find those in your average history book.
Monstrous, acidic creatures known to dissolve organic matter. Pretty nasty stuff.
So, in his hasty retreat, what became of this potentially invaluable magical map?
Unfortunately for Golthar, the ancient tapestry crumbled in his hands during his frantic escape.
Oh, no.
Yeah, leaving him with only the silver needle and the golden thread. His only remaining avenue was to seek out other similar tapestries.
Okay, so he's still got the key, just not the lock.
Sort of. It was then that a captured traveler revealed the existence of a golden tapestry located in a settlement east of Kelvin.
But didn't know exactly where.
Couldn't specify which one? No. It seems the ancient magic of the tapestry couldn't withstand the chaotic escape, highlighting its fragile nature despite its immense power.
And this desperation, fueled by the loss of the map and pressure from his superiors within the Iron Ring, this seems to have driven Golthar to some pretty drastic measures.
Indeed. Unable to discreetly inquire about the tapestry and needing to produce results for his organization, Golthar resorted to extreme tactics.
Which were?
He ordered his hobgoblin lieutenants to mobilize the goblin tribes residing in the Dimrak Forest.
Goblins, okay.
And launch coordinated attacks on all settlements situated east of Kelvin. His instructions were clear. No settlement was to be spared in their relentless search for more of these magical tapestries.
Wow, just attack everyone.
Everyone east of Kelvin. This shift from seeking knowledge to widespread aggression reveals a darker side to his ambition.
So Golthar's pursuit of lost treasures has essentially ignited a wave of violence across the region.
Pretty much, yeah.
This brings us to the more immediate dangers detailed in the module, starting with a journey originating from Kelvin.
Right. The module outlines a planned journey departing from Kelvin aboard Kalnos' riverboat, scheduled for the 7th of Thalmont,
Okay.
with the intended destination of Misha's Ferry, which lies in close proximity to the homestead of Sukiskin.
Sukiskin. We'll get back to them.
Yes. However, the initial stages of this journey are immediately fraught with peril.
An ambush, I presume. Orchestrated by the Iron Ring once again.
Precisely. A figure identified as a Reaver, leading 16 hounds of the Iron Ring.
Hounds. Like actual dogs. Or something else.
Presumably some sort of trained creatures. The source isn't specific. They set an ambush, stretching a chain across the river to halt the boat's progress.
Clever. And dangerous.
And launched an attack with arrows, clearly intending to prevent any travel east of Kelvin. This suggests that Golthar's influence, or perhaps his paranoia, extends beyond just employing goblins for his search.
He's actively trying to control movement within the region.
Seems like it.
And speaking of homesteads under threat, Sukiskin is specifically mentioned as the next target. What's the situation there?
Sukiskin is described as a fortified homestead inhabited by a human clan. Tragically, they had already suffered losses.
Oh.
Their blacksmith, Novans, and his son-in-law, Hakos, were killed in an attempt to secure their horses, indicating prior hostile encounters.
So they're already under siege, essentially.
The remaining homesteaders are in a defensive posture, yeah. Bracing for the imminent arrival of goblin war parties commanded by Vlak.
Vlak, Golthar's lieutenant.
That's the one. The attack was planned to coincide with sunset, suggesting a calculated strategy.
A classic siege scenario unfolding. The module provides a vivid account of the assault, doesn't it? Goblins using fire.
Yeah, fire as a weapon.
The defenders desperately trying to repel them?
Indeed. The goblins utilized fire in an attempt to breach the homestead's defenses, igniting the barn, the gatehouse, a section of the protected palisade.
Trying to burn them out.
Right? The defenders, including individuals named Pyotr, Daria, and others, fought back using whatever weaponry they had available. Spears, bows, slings.
Anything they could get their hands on.
Pretty much.
Uh-huh.
Ultimately, the goblins were forced to retreat before launching a final assault, led by a particularly formidable goblin and accompanied by dire wolves. Larger, more dangerous versions of normal wolves.
Dire wolves, too. Okay.
And there was even an aerial assault involving giant vampire bats, adding another layer of threat.
Giant vampire bats. This region sounds increasingly hazardous, so Sukiskin manages to survive this initial onslaught.
They hold them off, yes.
But the danger isn't over, is it? There's mention of stolen horses and a subsequent pursuit?
That's correct. In the aftermath of the siege, a character named Taras leads a group in pursuit of the Viper Goblins who managed to steal horses during the attack.
Viper Goblins.
Okay.
Different clan.
Right. The trail left by the goblins is described as relatively easy to follow, and there's even a possibility of noticing the distinct tracks left by the dire wolves that accompanied them.
Ah, the wolves again.
This detail highlights how different creatures can become entangled in these conflicts.
And this pursuit culminates in a rather gruesome discovery, doesn't it? A bandit camp of sorts.
Yes. The pursuing group discovers that the goblins who stole the horses have themselves been ambushed and massacred.
What? By who?
The source doesn't explicitly say who did the ambushing there, but the scene is depicted as quite disturbing bodies of both goblins and horses scattered about. Adding to the unsettling nature of the scene is the discovery of an obese goblin hanging from a tree.
Just hanging there.
Apparently. And further adding to the strangeness, 6 large beetles are found feeding on the remains.
Beetles.
Large ones. And they exhibit a preference for live prey, indicating a potentially unnatural hunger or adaptation.
Okay, that's weird. Putting aside that rather vivid imagery, what other imminent dangers does the module highlight beyond these direct attacks?
Well, the sources detail several other significant threats in the vicinity. There's the lumber camp of Iliakana. It suffered a goblin attack the day prior to the assault on Sukaskin. Tragically, most of the inhabitants were killed.
Oh, man.
And Kalanos' riverboat, the one from the start of the journey, was sunk at the camp. Kalanos himself survived the attack, but is now described as being in a berserk state.
Understandable, really. Traumatized.
Likely, yes. The module also mentions the lairs of the Red Blade and Viper Goblin clans as ongoing sources of danger.
What, more goblins?
As well as orc activity in the vicinity of a local mine, and reports of strange occurrences around the tombs on the ridge.
Tombs on the ridge. Supernatural stuff.
Hints at it, yes. Lingering threats beyond just goblins and orcs.
So, what does this all paint a picture of? It sounds like this region is a real, powder keg of trouble. Threats ranging from organized raiding parties,
Like the Iron Ring and the goblins.
to more localized monster encounters and even these lingering supernatural elements.
Exactly. If we consider the broader context, Golthar's desperate actions have indeed had a significant destabilizing effect on the entire region.
It all comes back to him.
It seems so, creating a cascade of violence and immediate threats that impact settlements and travelers indiscriminately. His focused pursuit of this lost Hutakan wealth has inadvertently made Karamakos a far more perilous place than it likely was before.
A classic example of how one individual's ambition can have widespread negative consequences.
Precisely.
And the catalyst for all this chaos seems to be these mysterious Hutakan tapestries. The module eventually brings us to a crucial revelation about their true nature through the capture of Fjodor's brother, Stefan.
That's right. Stefan is captured by goblins.
Bad luck runs in the family, apparently.
Seems so. He's initially taken to the Wolfskull Goblin Lair, which is located within a petrified forest.
Petrified forest sounds spooky.
A rather unsettling location, yeah. Implied to have been scarred by ancient magic centuries ago. From this ominous place, he is eventually transported to the ruined city of Sitaka.
Back to Zataka, Golthar's base.
Exactly, which serves as Golthar's base of operations.
The wolf skull lair in a petrified forest sounds like a dangerous locale in itself. But the narrative focus shifts to Stefan's rescue in Zataka.
Right.
And a critical discovery within Golthar's quarters.
Yes. Upon reaching Sitaka, Stefan is found imprisoned and bound within a tower, alongside a Hutakan scroll.
Okay.
But more importantly, within Golthar's room, the adventurers uncover the color tapestry.
The color tapestry, not the golden one.
Apparently another one. And when this tapestry is touched with the silver needle and golden thread that Golthar still possesses,
The key.
it magically transforms to reveal a detailed map of Karamakos, coastlines, rivers, and a distinct pulsating golden area nestled within the mountains.
The Lost Valley.
Unmistakably, the Lost Valley of Hutaka.
A literal magic map. Stefan, being familiar with the local geography, is even able to recognize key landmarks
Yes, he can pinpoint it.
and pinpoint the Lost Valley to the north of the settlement of Threshold. This seems like a pivotal moment.
Absolutely. This discovery raises significant questions about the true power and purpose of this ancient artifact, and by extension, Golthar's ultimate objective.
Right, maybe it's not just about the gold coins anymore.
It suggests his interest extends beyond mere monetary wealth. The tapestry itself holds immense value and significance.
And this revelation directly leads us to the Lost Valley of Hutaka itself. The module paints a picture of a desolate yet internally divided land.
That's right. Upon entering the Lost Valley, the adventurers encounter a stark contrast. The eastern half is largely deserted,
Creepy.
characterized by an eerie silence and decaying structures, creating a palpable sense of unease.
But the other half?
However, the western half is a hotbed of ongoing conflict between two distinct factions.
Okay, who?
The Hutakans themselves, the jackal-headed humanoids we discussed earlier,
They're still there.
apparently so, and the Traildar, the human descendants of their former slaves.
Wow, still fighting after all this time.
Their cultures and societal structures have diverged significantly over time, fueled by the enduring legacy of oppression and rebellion. It's an old wound.
So it's not just about exploring ancient ruins and recovering lost relics. It's entering a region with a living, breathing conflict and deeply rooted historical grievances.
Exactly.
And there are other dangers lurking within the valley, aren't there? Mentions of creatures emanating from the Temple of Flar?
Yes. The Temple of Flar is described as a significant source of peril within the Lost Valley. Legions of undead creatures.
Undead
Great.
are said to roam the valley under the cover of darkness. And a particularly ancient and malevolent entity known as Kartoba,
Kartoba.
referred to as the Thing in the Pit, dwells deep beneath the temple.
The thing in the pit. That sounds bad.
It certainly implies something formidable. The module even suggests that adventurers entering the valley could easily find themselves drawn into the ongoing conflict between the Hutakans and the Traildar,
Taking sides.
potentially influencing the outcome by choosing a side, yes.
Okay, let's consider this. The Lost Valley isn't just a forgotten repository of wealth. It's a volatile region, grappling with its past, facing internal strife, and harboring ancient, monstrous threats.
A real mess.
And Golthar's relentless pursuit of the tapestry has inadvertently opened a pathway for others to stumble upon this hidden place, potentially escalating the existing conflicts to even greater heights.
It highlights how the pursuit of the past can dramatically alter the present.
What's particularly striking here is the cyclical nature of power and conflict. The Hutakans once held dominion over the Traildar, only to be overthrown.
Right.
Now, their descendants are locked in another struggle for dominance within the valley, demonstrating how historical power dynamics can continue to shape the dangers of the present.
History repeating itself, kind of.
In a way, Golthar's unchecked ambition to exploit this history has not only unleashed chaos across Karameikos, but has also illuminated a region far more complex and treacherous than he likely anticipated.
So what does all this intricate history and current turmoil mean for you, the informed traveler of Karameikos? We've journeyed through the rise and fall of ancient empires, the desperate actions of treasure hunters,
Golthar.
goblin sieges on remote homesteads, and the revelation of a magical map leading to a hidden valley teeming with both humanoid conflict and undead threats.
Quite a trip.
The diverse sources you provided, when analyzed together, paint a detailed picture of a region brimming with history and present-day dangers, carrying significant implications for anyone who might venture there.
It's a lot to take in.
Perhaps this deep dive has only scratched the surface of your understanding.
Indeed. And this leads to a final thought to ponder. Could the magic woven into the Hutakan tapestries hold further secrets beyond just revealing geographical locations?
Ooh, good question.
What other forgotten histories, what other powerful artifacts might remain concealed within the seemingly familiar landscapes of Karameikos, simply waiting for the right individual to unearth them?
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. We hope you've enjoyed exploring the world of Night's Dark Terror as much as we have. Until next time, may your adventures be filled with epic loot and unforgettable stories.